Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our next history lesson. And as I mentioned yesterday, we are looking at some creatures in Greek myths. So, you might be thinking, well, when we've been looking at mythology, we've met gods and goddesses, which we learned about yesterday. We met people like Theseus and Perseus. But what else is in Greek myths? What else is in there other than the gods and the people? Now, there are lots of famous mythological creatures, which means that creatures that exist and were born in myth. Okay, and that's how we know all about them. Now, Greek myths include amazing mythical creatures as well as horrible monsters, and we've met some of those horrible monsters as well as the amazing creatures. Now, the reason we know about this in the modern day is because ancient Greek poets and writers wrote all about these creatures and they described them in their work. So they described what they looked like and their nature and what they were like and how they came about, really. And some of these authors, these poets, are Homer and Hesiod, and they're really famous. And in their work, they described some of these creatures. So we are going to have a little go at listening to one of their descriptions and drawing the creature we hear. So I'd like to pause the video, get a piece of paper, it can just be a scrap bit of paper, and a pencil. Okay? So, now that you've got those items, I'm going to describe a mythological creature. And as I describe it, I want you to draw the creature as I'm explaining parts of its body. Okay? And then we're going to see if yours matches up to the actual creature. Right, so if you want to send these to me and Mrs. Southwood afterwards, we'll be quite intrigued to see what you draw. So, I would like you to draw an immortal beast, lion at the front. So it's a lion at the front of its body, a snake behind, and a goat in the middle. A lion at the front, a snake behind, and a goat in the middle. And snorting out the breath of a terrible flame of bright fire. So your creature needs a lion's body at the front, a snake's body at the back, a goat in the middle, and it needs to be breathing out a flame of fire. Okay, I'd like to pause the video before I reveal it, and let's see. So you should have drawn this creature. How strange is this creature? So a lion at the front, a lion's face and front of the body, a snake at the back, a snake's behind, so tail and body, and a goat in the middle, which I find is the strangest part. A goat in the middle, so you can see a goat's head between his shoulder blades in the middle, and he's breathing out fire. So not only is it a lion, a snake, and a goat, he's actually breathing out fire too. So this creature is called a chimera. And this is an ancient Greek creature which we're going to learn about. It's a mythological creature. It wasn't real, but the ancient Greeks told stories with the chimera in it. We will be looking at this, but I just think this creature is so strange, and I'm excited to see what you drew. Okay, so now ancient Greek artists also painted and sculpted these creatures. So they'd listen to the poetry, they'd listen to the stories and the myths, and then they would create the creatures on pottery, or in statues. So you can see some of them here. Now you can see the chimera that you've just drawn. Someone actually made a statue of it. How cool is that? You can see the snake, the goat, and the lion here. So someone in ancient Greek actually created a statue of it, which I think is amazing. Now, you might recognize some creatures from our myths. You might notice here, what's this lady got around her head? You might notice something here. Maybe from another story with a face in it. And you might recognize something from our lesson yesterday, a symbol of one of the gods, a creature that they did. So you might be looking and thinking, oh, wait a minute, I know a creature that has one eye from the myth of Odysseus. I know a creature that had snakes for hair in the myth of Perseus. Oh, in the myth of Perseus, there was also a winged horse that was born. Now, in the myth of Theseus, I'm sure there was a maze with a creature inside. So you might be seeing these creatures and thinking, oh yeah, and that is exactly what the ancient Greeks did. They'd hear the myth and they'd think, wow, that creature is so cool. I want to show everyone. I want everyone to see this creature and know this story. And that is how they told stories. They told it through vases and through artwork. And that is how everyone saw these creatures, through statues and even, as we know in Corinth, on coins, which I think is quite amazing. And after this lesson, you'll know these creatures. And when you look back, maybe you'll go to a museum one day and see some ancient Greek statue or pottery, and you'll think, oh, I know what that creature is. I learned that in school. And you can tell everyone about it. So, the first creature, I'm sure lots of your favorites, is Pegasus. And I love Pegasus. Pegasus was born and he's the son of Poseidon and Medusa. And we know, very strange part of the myth, he was born straight out of Medusa's neck. So when Perseus cut off her head, Pegasus came out from her blood. He was immortal. So immortal means he can't die. So Pegasus cannot die. He's immortal. He also creates streams of water whenever he stamped his hoof. So if he stamped his hoof, water would come out, which is an amazing power. And as you can see, yeah, Pegasus has the body of a horse and wings. So beautiful wings to help Pegasus fly. So we have the winged horse, Pegasus. I'm sure lots of you remember Pegasus. And as we just said, he is on the coins of Corinth. So he's a big figure there. Now, the next one, I hope you remember this one from the myth that I told you about last week, is the Gorgon Medusa. So the type of creature is Gorgon, and her name was Medusa. So we are humans, and my name is Miss Whitehouse. They are Gorgons, and her name is Medusa. So the actual creature is a Gorgon. Now, Medusa was actually born as a beautiful human. She was a lovely, beautiful human, but she was so vain and boastful. She always looked in the mirror. She thought she was the most beautiful creature in the world, and she boasted all about it all the time. Now, Athena got cross with that. She got cross with her boasting all the time, so she turned her into a gorgon. So she was born a human and was turned into a gorgon with an ugly face and snakes instead of hair, and a gaze that turned everyone to stone. So when you see an image or a statue of someone with snakes for hair, you know that that is a gorgon, and it's a woman that is ugly, has a scary, ugly face, and she has snakes for hair and turns people to stone. That is a gorgon. Very scary creature. Now, another creature, which I hope you'd remember from yesterday, was Cerberus. And you can see on a vase here from ancient Greece that he was shown quite a lot, really. Cerberus was a vicious three-headed dog. So he had three heads. In Greek myths, he guarded the gates to the underworld, and he stopped the dead from leaving and from the living going in. So ancient Greeks believed there were some gates that led to the underworld where the dead were. And Cerberus sat there so the dead couldn't escape and get back into the world, and so living humans couldn't get into the gates. And he was known as the Hound of Hades because he was Hades' dog. So he's seen as Hades' pet, and Hades, as we know, is the god of the underworld. So when you see a dog with three heads, it is Cerberus. He is very scary. Now, as we know, we've already looked at the Chimera, which I just can't get over how strange it looks. So the Chimera has a head of a lion, the tail of a snake, and a goat's head in the middle on its back. So the goat's head is on its back between its shoulder blades, the lion's head at the front, and a snake at the back. Just seems like there's a lot going on. So Chimera was a brother of Cerberus. So the three-headed dog, that is his brother. Cerberus is his brother. It has the head of a lion, the goat's head on its back, and the tail of a snake. And in Greek myth, this Chimera was eventually killed by Pegasus. So Pegasus actually kills the evil Chimera, which is quite impressive. So Pegasus saves the day. Now, I'm sure you'll remember the Cyclops because I loved seeing your storyboard of the Cyclops when we looked at the myth of Odysseus. So a Cyclops is a one-eyed giant. Now, the Cyclops are thought to work for Hephaestus. So we know that Hephaestus is the blacksmith god. He creates metal and weapons for the gods. And the Cyclops was thought to help him and to help him create this thing because he's so strong. Some Greek poets said that the Cyclops even ate people. And we saw that in the myth of Odysseus, didn't we? We saw that he got cross and tried to eat them. So some people believe that Cyclops would try and eat people. So if you see a giant with one eye, if you see one eye, you know that it is a Cyclops, whether it looks like this, or even if it looks more human and it's got a beard and some hair, but I can see this creature has one eye, so I know it is a Cyclops. So if you see one eye, you know it is a Cyclops, not an Iclops, a Cyclops. See what that was? Okay, another creature is a Minotaur. You might remember this from Theseus and the Minotaur, when he had string and went through the maze. So the Minotaur was a hideous beast, had the head of a bull and the body of a man. He lived in King Minos's labyrinth on the island of Crete. So many people would go to Crete to see if they could see the Minotaur. He ate people who got trapped in the maze. So as you remember from the myth, I'm sure, King Minos would put children in the maze and the Minotaur would eat them. So the Minotaur lived in the maze and he'd eat people. So he was a man-eating beast with the head of a bull and the body of a man. So you can see here he's got a bull's head, but a man's actual body. Some people believe he still had the hooves of a bull, but he stood tall like a man. And the last one, which I think is a really impressive beast, is called the Hydra. Now, the Hydra was a many-headed snake. So it was a snake creature and it had lots and lots and lots of snake heads. Now, when a head was cut off the Hydra, it regrew. So it grew back. It didn't kill the Hydra. It didn't just kill one head. It grew back. And according to Greek myths, the breath of the Hydra was poisonous and one drop of its blood was deadly. So if the Hydra would breathe on you or you'd inhale its breath, it would kill you. And one drop of its blood would kill you as well. So you had to be really careful near the Hydra. Now, eventually, Hercules or Heracles, he had different pronunciations, killed the Hydra by burning off its heads with a torch. But the Hydra lived in a swamp of Lerna and he was a many-headed snake. So if you saw a creature that had lots of different snake heads and if you chopped a head off, it would grow back. If you chopped another head off, it would grow back. It was a nightmare to try and defeat, which is why it was one of Hercules' challenges. And obviously, if you don't want its poisonous breath or blood to touch you, that's quite challenging. So you can see here on an ancient vase, Hercules trying to defeat the Hydra. And you can see lots of snake heads on that Hydra. So it was quite a scary looking creature. All of them are really, apart from Pegasus. So your job today is going to be 2 tasks. So you've got 1 task first, which is identifying the creature. So I've written some sentences and I've given you the name so you can spell them correctly of each creature. And you need to identify which creature is being described. So for example, the first one says, I have the body of a horse, but I have wings. So in your head, which creature has the body of a horse and has wings? Identify the name up here and just write it in the box. I'm a really tough giant with one eye. If something looks at me, they'll turn to stone. I have the head of a bull and the body of a man. You might find me in Crete, and there's more, okay? Your task 2 is a bit more creative. So, for this one, we want you to create an information poster of your favourite mythological creature. So you can choose one out of the 7 creatures. You can choose whichever one you find the most interesting or you're the most excited to find out more about. Now, on your information poster, we need to have the creature's name. We need to have a picture of it. So you to draw a picture of this creature and some key information. So you might want to include what it did, what myth it was in, where it was found, how it was born, what it liked to eat, okay, what it looked like. And then you need to take a picture of that and email it to your teacher. Now, we want these posters to be as creative and as neat as possible, okay? So we want you to take your time and make sure you're getting all the information in that you can. If you want to research more about these creatures, feel free to research more. It'll be very interesting to see. Okay, and I've created a differentiated sheet just to help out some of you with the reading aspect, and you've just got a bit of communicating print. But I want to do exactly the same. Type in the name of the beast and then create a poster for us. This poster can be created on paper, at home. Okay, and if you do want to create it on the Word document, you won't be able to draw your pictures, so just make sure you're sending your pictures separately. Okay, so have lots of fun with this. I'm very excited to see which your favourite is. I don't know which my favourite is. Find them all. I mean, I love Pegasus because it's just beautiful, but I do find the Hydra quite interesting. So I'm excited to see what your favourite is. I'll have a bit of a think about mine, and I will see you next week. So we'll see you on Monday at 8:30, ready for your literacy lesson. Have a lovely weekend, enjoy your activity, and I'll see you soon.